Okay. Put this up here. It's been a long time, everyone. What's up? This is Bro7, Brain Rock on 7. Coming at you live through a little bit of a podcast type update. I've been thinking about making this video for a long time. So I started this channel about 10 years ago, and I had started a YouTube channel, well, YouTube in general, like 8 years before that. And that was back when I was in, I think, elementary school. I started making stupid little vlog videos on a crappy webcam, and then I eventually started to make little Let's Play videos with my friends. And then I started getting into creepypastas, and I liked I loved creepypastas. And back when I used to watch them and listen to them, it was, I mean, there was terrible story. Like, I mean, just the premise of, the writing power of Jeff the original Jeff the Killer was atrocious, and the original Slender Man was terrible. There was a lot of slop, but back then it was all you had, so it was good. But then I started hearing stories like the Harbinger experiment, and I started to listen to stories back then that really broke the mold. Stories these days, honestly, they're not even creepypastas. They're stories, and you can tell that because a lot of the modern day story creators put like 30 words in their title. I work at a gas. My favorite one was I work at a gas station. I'll never do it again. So that's kind of like the evolution of you know that's kind of the set revolution that's been going on, and like the state of stories. I mean, there's decent stories out there. There's a couple of people that content creators, like guys, I could point you guys in the right direction of. But yeah, I don't. I think I think horror can be subjective to an extent, but I think that a lot of the creators these days are going a bit far with their approach. Um, I will say this. I started making stories based off of Disney World. And to an extent, I was I want to say 16-year-old kid making stories. And I just did it. And moving on from that, I started to make more and more stories, gain a following for it, which is kind of cool. And I liked making the stories. Fast forward 10 years, I'm a dad, I'm a licensed technician, I work 50, 60 hours a week. Um, I just bought a house, I've got a kid, like I said. I've really moved on from making stories, but I wanted, so I don't want to say that I'm retiring from it, because every once in a while you get that itch and you want to finish a story, you want to finish you want to finish something, and I've done that. My latest story, I was really happy with how it turned out. The fans were really happy with how it turned out. But the one thing that I always felt indifferent was the characters involved, children. And I guess that's what, thank you. Yeah, no, interest rate's not good, but it is what it is. I couldn't be happier. That's what I wanted to talk about today. So there is a difference between horror and brutality, you know? And I might get a little bit of backlash for this, but you go and watch a movie like you go and watch a movie like John Carpenter's The Thing, right? I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched that movie. I think it's possibly the best horror movie ever made. Um, Not just on like, what the story was, when just the fact of what they did, why they did, and why they did it, and how they told it, and how ambiguous it was. You know, how ambiguous it was. And most importantly, they didn't have a child getting raped or molested or brutalized or ripped apart or insert the trauma there. Um, I've noticed that the community has shifted to really popularizing kids being harmed. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this because it's honestly, it's terrible. I won't try to bring like religion or any of that stuff into it, but I would like to take a minute to talk about the ramifications of this. Ramifications of this. So I just got done watching a series. It's called Them. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's about racism in the '60s and whatnot. And they got a lot of good points in there. And there's a scene in there, and I really don't hope any of you guys go and look this up, but it's called Cat in the Bag, and they basically take a bunch of evil white supremacists, not like what they call real white supremacists, at least in the story, um, were they broke into a house and they took a daughter, or I'm sorry, not a baby, an infant, and they put it in a bag, and they didn't really they didn't show it. They more or less, kind of like placated it and raped the mom, and it was just really messed up stuff. And they, they killed the baby and whatnot. Which, kudos to them for not showing the graphic death. You can hear and put two and two together. But is that acceptable? I'm asking you guys, is that acceptable? Is that an acceptable form of horror, or is that not? Should that be banned? Should that not be allowed? Should that be, is that too far? Let me push it up another step. There was a series I just watched, not a series, a movie I just watched. It's a oh God, it's from Thailand, and it's a horror movie where the world went into, like, they used up all the resources and pollution's killing all the species. So they, found a fish um, that they thought could solve the crisis, and they start eating them. And long story short, it causes like a fish human hybrid zombie outbreak in a hospital in Thailand. And it's, really over the top, not really a lot of thought behind the story or the plot or any of that stuff. However, there's a scene where one of the nurses gets infected. It's a mom of a youngling, and they leave her behind because she's going to turn. And um, she then hears the cries in the NICU of the newborn babies, and then it shows her just ripping. I mean, just ripping the babies to shred. I mean, something like that. I mean, sure, you got to think, like someone wrote that in a script. Someone put that on the screen. Someone filmed that, and the fact that they didn't just cut it at the cries of the baby, you know, the fact that they didn't just cut it and they continued it and showed it, you know what I mean? Like that's not horror. That's not horror. I'm sorry. That's not horror. That's not creepy. That's disturbing. That's the same thing as body horror. I don't like it being called, but it's not body horror. It's deformities. It's gross, and I 100% do not support that style of writing in horror. There's a difference. So the beginning of It, Chapter One, the remake. You have little little boy there. I forget his name. Being dragged into the sewer. From the drain there, and his arm gets torn clean off. And I mean, it's graphic and whatnot. You see the arm torn off, and then you see him dragged back in with a trail of blood behind him in the first 10 minutes. And that, I mean, that's pushing it. At least it's a like an older young like an 11-year-old kid. It's not like a freaking baby. You know what I mean? But it had impact. It gave drive to the story, and it's hard to watch, but it was impactful, and it gave the story a reason for going on. You know what I mean? And there, I don't know if it's just that we as a society are just desensitized to adults dying, but it's more and more common, especially in these Asian horror movies, that children dying is just, I mean, they just do it. I wouldn't advocate for anyone to support any of this work. It's disgusting. There's a scene in the stupid franchise, the Centipede Project, or whatever the hell it is, the Human Centipede, um, which is already a stupid. That's a very stupid. So that's not so much again the body horror aspect. That's not so much body. I mean, you could tell by the third movie when they're just literally putting prisoners together. Like that's not even. It's not horror anymore. It's just gross. It's shock value. Um, Moving on from that, there's a scene in Centipede 2 where a woman births a baby and then they just run it over the car. Like, no reason. That had no impact to the story. There was no impact to the story. And unfortunately, with a lot of these horror movies and shows, they're so terrible and they just rely on that shock. There's a there's a movie called Hobo with a Shotgun. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched it. It is I mean, brutal, no punches pulled movie about the worst of the worst of humanity. Uh, I would say it's hard. It's really hard to watch. There's a lot of scenes in there that are really hard to watch. There's like a straight up scene where a kid's getting abducted and in a pedophile's car, and screaming help, help. I mean, you don't obviously see it happen clearly, but there's just a lot going on, and thankfully they didn't show a baby die. I mean, they kind of did. They showed a toddler dying in the trash. There's a lot of messed up stuff. The difference is that movie, when the children die in that movie, it was an impact and it had a purpose and it pushed the story along. And I mean, I do think they went a little bit far in some cases, but I mean, they weren't having a you know, NICU infant baby getting torn apart. You know what I mean? Um, hot take. I think Five Nights at Freddy's desensitized a lot of the people in the community. I mean, it opened the door for a lot of these weirdos that are now being praised for their work, you know? Um, it's disturbing, honestly. You have people straight up making, I forget this guy's name. He's a YouTuber here. He just made a he got popular because he made these realistic Five Nights at Freddy's VHS. Someone might know his name. Comment if you know it. But he makes these Five Nights at Freddy's VHS tapes, right? And he popularized it because it's really graphic and realistic, and the sound quality is awesome, and kudos. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's capitalizing on children being brutally murdered. You know what I mean? And not just murdered. I mean, stuffed in the suits and murdered by the mechs, and it's and there's people that watch that, and they're not watching it as an art. They're watching it as like some sort of a sick pleasure. You know what I mean? To everyone in the chat, hello. Sorry, I'm not reading them right now. I'm just kind of ranting right now in the community. I'm I'm just oh my god. There's one. All I want is my two front teeth or something like that. There's an animation that by the same dude, and it's essentially a little girl in a room, and her family gets killed one by one, and then the monster shows up, and then just she says, "You're not my mommy," and it's shock value. It's shock value. At some point, the it's not even horror. It's a disgusting infatuation. You know what I mean? It's like it's basically borderline child. Like I put child mutilation and abuse and murder in the same category as child molestation. You know what I mean? There are sick people out there that not only enjoy watching that stuff, but making that stuff and profiting off of that stuff, and it's quite disturbing. Yeah, this guy. I don't know what that's from. I don't know what Gabe owners. I don't know what that's from. But I mean, feel free to post your comments. I'm not scared of people posting comments at all. So, um, yeah, I wanted to kind of put my 2 cents into this. I think that the murder of children and the hurting of children um, in these content creators content. I wouldn't even call it content. It's basically just something that these sickos get off to. Um, I think that because of that, it's really hurting not just the stories and communities, even the stories that I make, because the stories I make, you listen for like 30, 40 minutes, and it builds and it builds and it builds. you know um I've been debating taking a story of mine down for a long time. It's in the trash because again, it's just, I mean, the ending is just shock. It's a build up, and I don't. It's lazy, it's lame, and it's disgusting. Um, with Gateway to Hell, you know, the character was terrorized as a kid, but they didn't they didn't die as a kid. You know what I mean? They weren't mutilated as a kid. You know, and I think that's the important thing to defer here is that people are fucked. They're fucked up in the head. And I don't like supporting that. I do not support that one bit. I think these, and a lot of people will say it's just an animation, you know, it's just a story, it's just animation. That's terrific. What happens when AI is able to make child pornography, and I mean, no holds bar, like as real as it gets, and it comes to a point where you cannot tell if it's real or not, you know? What happens? The people pushing for this stuff, it's okay, it's just an animation. No, you're spreading some very dangerous ideas and acceptances on taboos, and it's just, it's fucked, you know? And I guess that's one of the biggest reasons contributing to why I haven't made stories because, you know, ever since I've had a kid and, you know, started to attend, you know, church and be, you know, a family guy, blue collar guy working all the time, um, you know, my thoughts have changed on a lot of this stuff. And I don't, you know, necessarily like the idea of a child dying in these stories or even being involved in general. You know, there's a difference between teenagers being murdered by an axe wielder and a freaking infant being ripped apart. I can't believe they put that in a. Somebody wrote that in a script, somebody acted it out, and somebody filmed it, and they put that on a movie, like in a movie, you know? And then somebody saw that in a board and then passed it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that bothers me. So, um, let's talk about the stories. I don't have any updates as far as releasing right now. Um, Mainly because of the fact that I'm incredibly busy. Um, my life is very good. I'm very blessed for my life, and I've been working very hard at trying to improve it and keep it going and be a family guy, you know. Um, I've been working my butt off trying to get to where I need to be in life. And there's been days I've wanted to log on and do stuff, but it's 8 o'clock and I get tired, you know. You work 12, 16 hour shift back to back, sometimes 7 days a week, and you get exhausted, man. Uh, the last thing you want to do is sit in front of a computer and make a story, you know, because then you're going to have to sift through a lot of this bullshit, you know, when you do. You're going to have to look it through content like what I'm explaining and whatnot, and it's not worth it. Um, every time I, you know, pick up my little guy and I give him a hug, you know, and he tells me I love you, I, you know, my heart sinks and I don't feel very creepy, you know. I feel happy, I feel fulfilled. Um, which sucks because it makes me feel like, you know, it's not fair for you guys to have to sit there and wait for something that may or may not come, you know, anytime soon. But I mean, I guess that's the exciting part is, you know, 10 years from now, you'll be able to come back and know that there's another chapter, you know? So I hear stories of people that said they were in grade school and now they're in college listening to these stories, and it blows my mind. I see that on like big YouTubers have those fans, you know what I mean? But I also have those fans, and I appreciate the hell out of it. And I thank you guys for being here today and stopping by. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the comments. I try to read them all. Generally, if you've noticed, I've replied to most of them. Maybe not in these lives, but you know, on the videos. You know, uh, excuse me, it's like 4 in the morning over here. I just couldn't sleep because I was thinking about this. It's been bugging me for like the past few weeks. So yeah, I also wanted to throw it out there without directly re-uploading the video. If anyone ever wants to use the ideas or create something similar to the stories that I've created, feel free to. Just post your inspiration, always link back to the inspiration. Um, a little bit of my inspiration was obviously Abandoned by Disney, a little bit, and Room Zero. I'd say more so Room Zero, rooms. So, um, yeah, I would definitely say that Jesus Christ, we have 30 people watching. Why is there so many people here? Comment what you're doing at this time, and I wonder if you guys are from the UK watching or if you're from America. I would love to know. This message is held for review. Got that meat in my hand. There you go. Hopefully, hopefully not watching what I'm talking about, because my God, you know. Um. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Funny comments or serious comments. It's been fun. Um. I'm not retiring. I've thought about retiring. Just right. That's interesting. Um. The story. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit conflicted. I don't know whether or not to. My original idea was I wanted to continue and finish the Buried in Hell story that I teased, and to jump down to where Frederick is and do that, and then have that eventually tie in to Above the Hell and take it from there. And I got a big plan about the one after that, and I mean, I have three stories that I have in my head, and I just got to get them out of my head. So it's a pain in the ass. um, I will say that I I haven't put a lot of thought into getting behind the computer lately, mainly because, like I said, I'm working so much. But I will complete this series someday, even if it turns into a 30-year project. I will complete it someday. Um, it just takes time. I'm one person. These videos are not 2 minutes long. They're like almost damn near an hour long story. I don't like cheap thrills. I like being able to build it up, and I have a lot of plans, and those include the main Disney stories. I think a lot of you guys just want to see the ending, which I don't blame you. I do too. But I guess that's part of the fun is waiting, you know. Um, Excuse me. But yeah. I mean, I wanted to tell you guys again. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart life, and you think of retiring or hiring someone. Don't stress. No, no, I'm not stressed at all. I believe me when you're stepping off a 30-foot roof onto a ladder. It's nothing really stresses you after that. Um. Anyways, again, I like to try to keep this channel anti-political and anti-religion. Because obviously not everyone on here is going to be a diehard devoted Christian. Not everyone on here is going to be a right or left winger. You know, not everyone's even from America, so there's a lot of different ideals and whatnot. So I will try to keep that out, but I will say that I do not support the harming of children in these stories that have been coming out, and this content that's been coming out in this new era of shock value and just gore. I do not support it. I denounce it. I think it's wrong. Um, I will more than likely be deleting my video. It's in the trash. Um, I mean, it's not like I labeled in and exclaimed everything, you know. It just sounds like the kid gets abducted. I mean, that's basically what it did, you know, the movie It. Just, I'm not showing a kid getting his fucking arm ripped off. Um, so yeah, I appreciate everyone that stuck around. I'm gonna try to end this. We're already at 31 minutes. But just please be patient. Check back. I hate to fucking say it. Check back in a year. I'm sure it'll be the next story will be uploaded eventually. It can't be any worse than the wait between the last two. So I mean that was like what 5 years. So I'd hope so too, my friend. I'd hope so too. I couldn't imagine a sweet little girl getting damaged or hurt. It'd also be nice if when I hire a voice actress, they could fucking stick around to do the lines. Yeah, I'm still here. Hey, that's nice. Hey, look at you. It's the Sonic guy. You know, nice. I was on Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on my Xbox playing with my buddies Million Origins, and I saw your old account and I saw the girl's name on there. I don't even know if that's the girl you're still seeing, but I remember the reaction videos you did, and I wish those were still around because I absolutely love those. Those are amazing when I watched those back in the day. Um, Message restricted. I didn't even read what the message was. Am I able to see it? No, I can't see it. Age of AI, it's scary, and I'm scared for the artist. And I'm not scared for the artist. The reason why I'm not scared for the artist is because no matter how hard AI tries, it cannot capture humanity. And I think that's just the thing. It can't capture humanity. And that's the difference between a channel like mine and a channel like Mr. Creepypasta. You know, he is uploading day after day, doing a system. He has a fucking, you know, algorithm to fulfill and whatnot, and he does it. And most of his revenue, by the way, comes in from the live streams. It's not the videos per se, because none of them are fucking monetized because this content's not profitable. 2017ish. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember. I wish I had played with you on Xbox Nice. I really wish I had done that. We could have really made some cool content together. I was very stupid in 2017. I was working at Burger King and I was playing with the wrong people, bunch of losers. Um, so it would have been nice to, you know, hang with the real ones. Yeah, I'm gonna be uploading an update on my Bro7 Plays channel after this. You have absolutely no need to listen to that. If you're here just for the creepypastas, I promise you're not gonna miss anything. It just entirely regards that channel. Um, I probably won't even mention this channel other than the fact that I just did an update on it. So, hear about the news of an AI actress entering the Hollywood and a bunch of celebrities. That's because people are fucking stupid. Um, you, what does that even mean, an AI actress entering Hollywood? You mean Hollywood entering Hollywood? Is that what translation? Whenever you still here working, take all the time you need, whatever you need. Done. Yeah, I guess I've been living a little bit more. Not so much making videos, so I think it's kind of funny actually that The AI thing. The AI thing's crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy that someone can pay a subscription, type in some words, and make something, you know? A tool that can theoretically solve any disease, calculate a trip to different planetary systems, and people are using it to make fucking junk. Absolute junk. Ancient entrance, yeah, I don't. The fact that they would pay money for that is the most mind blowing. Why would you not just make your own AI at that point? I don't understand it. There's a video, you guys should check it out. It's a video about how there's actual people in third world countries that make completely fictional females like models on OnlyFans and Instagram, and they make millions of dollars posting ads. Like, it's mind boggling. I'd wait a few years till the Gateway series ends. First to listen to here is the first. Sorry, I'm interested to see how, of course, your friend has stories as well. Money laundering, yeah, yeah, it sure is. Um, but yeah, that's all I got. Um, for now, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Nice, always nice to see you, Puppet Master. Thank you, TV Adware. I don't know when you joined the crew, but I appreciate you as well. Um, yeah, thank you guys for sticking by, and hopefully I haven't let you down. If I have, my deepest condolences. Some things are just more important, you know. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I love you guys all. Broken English for 200. I love all you guys. All right, we'll end this before it hits 40. Guys, as always, creep on. Thank you. Have a good one.